I like this guy, we're going on the first date, it's whatever. And I'm 16, he's 22. I just gotta keep saying that because it's very atrocious. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jovial, and here we're all about fashion, beauty, and lifestyle, and really just talking about anything that interests me that you guys might like as well. So today I'm starting a new series, like a story time series, where I'm going to be talking about literally the craziest things that have happened to me before, like the things that I've been through. So this is how it started. I was 16, I believe, and this was my first official job. Like, not official, but like my actually first job. It was my first job ever. And guess where I was working? Six Flags. Now Six Flags, I call it a plantation because that job was literally like the worst. I got sunburned from working under the sun with no umbrella. And even if I did have an umbrella, it was so like horrible, and my toes would stick out and my toes would get burnt to a crisp. Like, when I tell you this job was a plantation, I don't even want to call it a plantation because of today's times, but let me just say it was like never again. I would never work there. I suggest no one does, but hey, whatever. It was one of my first jobs. Like I said, I was 16. And the thing about Six Flags is I have a lot of stories that I've like things that have gone down there, but this specific one, like, okay, so this what happened. You know, at Six Flags they have a uniform. It was like the blue shirt and the I think it was like khaki bottoms or something. I can insert a picture of what I looked like back then. Drastic difference. But yeah, it was the blue shirt and the khaki pants. And that uniform, you can only specifically get it at the store that was located on the Six Flags parking lot for the employees. Now, this was my first day on the job, like officially, and I was supposed to go there and get my uniform and, you know, like start and stuff. And this were all the uniform, the equipment, the belts, like anything you needed that was like Six Flags merch. And the uniform was back there for employees, of course, only. So I walked into the trailer, and I had never been in this trailer before. I walked into the trailer and it was this boy. He was at the register, like he checking people out and making name tags and stuff. So I came up, I was like, I needed a name tag as well. So I came up and I was like saying my name and everything. He was like, what's your name? I told him my name, and he made my name tag for me. And I was, first, when I walked into that trailer, I was thinking, oh my god, he's kind of cute. Like, at 16, someone saved me mentally. But this is what I was thinking. I was like, oh my god, he's kind of cute or whatever. And I still remember his face, like, till this day. Like, it means nothing, but I still remember his face till this day because he was a guy. And guess how old he was? Like, we started talking about like just foolishness and how much like the job sucked and stuff like that. And he turns out he was 22. And so I was looking for pants as well. So he was like, what size are you? I was like, look, I don't really know. I hate this job. The pants that you sell here are ugly. So just give me whatever. Just look at me and tell me, like, what do you think I can wear? Because I wasn't really familiar with this anyway. And he was like, I think you wear a medium or whatever the sizes were back then. So he gave me a pair of pants. I put them on. And they were like, you know how pants are like stiff? Like they have so much starch. The pants were so stiff. But he gave it to me. I put it on the dressing room that was like in the corner right there. And it didn't fit. I came back out. I was like, can I get the next size up? Because it was like so tight on my like thighs and stuff. So I was like, can I get one more size up? He's like, yeah, sure. And like I was like, okay, he really cute. And it was just me and him in there, the trailer and stuff. We were like talking about stuff while I was changing, and I finally put the pants on and it fit. And I was like, I paid him, got my name tag, and I left. And I just remember thinking, like, after work throughout the whole day, I was like, oh my god, he was so cute, he's so cute. And then so I decided the next day, or maybe it was like a couple weeks later, I don't really know, to kind of just like find an excuse to go back in there. So I think like I purposely lost my name tag or something like that. I think that's what it was, because I remember losing it naturally anyway, but I lost it on purpose so I could go over there and get a new one. So like this was my excuse to go see him again, because I was like, it's kind of cute. And keep in mind, my 16-year-old self is not thinking about the fact that this dude is literally older than me. Like, he's 22. He could catch a case, but you know, hey, times were different back then. Not really, but still wrong. Anyway, I'm not condoning this, I'm just telling you the story. All right, so I went to the trailer and I was like, I lost my name tag. He's like, I remember your name. And he just made me a name tag. I was like, well, you know, like I was so happy. Then we just started talking about stuff because it was my break time when I went, so I had like a little bit of time to chat with him and stuff. And typically when you went in there was like no one else because people were typically working and stuff, so it was me and him again in there by ourselves again. And then we started talking. He got to know me more. He was like, how old are you? Then that's when he found out I was 16. And like I could kind of, you know, he like girls, you have that intuition, like you could tell somebody likes you, and I could tell he liked me, like I could tell. So then he was like, oh, you're pretty mature for like a 16-year-old. And I was like nowadays girls, if you hear that someone, you're pretty mature for a so-and-so age and like you're younger than 18, run. Like, don't even entertain it. I shouldn't have been entertaining that, but I was like, well, you know, I know I'm a little mature or whatever. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm mature. Like, you know, like an older person is paying attention. So I was like, yep, I'm mature. What about it? You know, whatever. But no, that was not a good thing. I don't know what I was thinking. If I could go back and look at myself and be like, get it together. But anyway, right, so I was like happy about that stuff. Then we started talking or whatever, and then we like all of a sudden, when I tell you all of a sudden, not literally all of a sudden, but all of a sudden he kissed me. And I was like, I was caught off guard, but then I wasn't, because I wanted him to the entire time. But then when he did, I was like, yo, that was, you know, he was cute. So it was like, okay, I know that was gonna happen. And so we were literally making out for a good, like, I don't want to exaggerate, maybe like 3 minutes, stopping on and off, whatever. And then like someone was coming up the stairs, so then we stopped, and then like it was cool and all, and then we got each other's phone number, and then we started texting after work. So then we eventually decided to go on the first date. Now this is where the story really breaks itself down. We decided to go on the first date, and keep in mind, we scheduled the first date maybe like a week after we had been talking on the phone and stuff like that. So it wasn't really that long of a time before we decided to go on the first date. And so we did. I gave him my address. He came and picked me up, but I didn't give him my exact address. Never do, because although I knew him as a coworker and I knew him and everything, I was like, I never give people my front address and my exact doorstep. I gave him, like, you know, a street over or whatever, and I just walked over to him. So okay, red flag number one. Not a red flag, but personally for me, things that I don't like. He picked me up in a pickup truck. There's nothing wrong with pickup trucks. Well, not that there's nothing wrong, like, you know, it's his car, it's his choice. But personally for me, I hate pickup trucks with a passion. So I was like, I just felt some type of way. Like, if it was any other car or like whatever, like, I'm not trying to be picky, but I just, because I hate pickup trucks, I was already like in some type of weird mood, right? But I was like, okay, it's whatever, you know, like, I like this guy, we're going on the first date, it's whatever. And I'm 16, he's 22. I just gotta keep saying that because it's very atrocious, but I'm gonna just keep saying it. So yeah, so I get in the truck and I noticed that he has shorts on, and I'm like, where he's, oh my gosh, if I did not mention, he's white, he's Caucasian. I should have said that from the jump, because maybe this might tell a couple things. Like, he's Caucasian. Now I got into the car and he was wearing shorts, like basketball gym shorts, and I was like, and if you know me, I'm kind of extra. Like, I do the most when you're not supposed to be doing the most. And this is the first date. I don't remember exactly what I was wearing, but it wasn't nothing basic, because I don't really do basic. Or I do basic, but I do the most when I'm not supposed to be doing the most, is my point. So he was wearing basketball shorts, and I was like, in my head, like, you're wearing basketball shorts on a first date? Like, I was like, maybe he just doesn't have a thing about style, whatever. And I noticed he actually had it, like, his leg was broken. His left leg was broken, and that's why he was driving and stuff. Well, that's why he was able to drive. So his left leg was broken. I was like, oh shit, I saw you a couple days ago, your leg was broken. Like, what happened? I was kind of concerned at that point, and I forgot what he told me, because that was a long time ago. He fell off something, whatever, I don't know. He broke his leg basically, and I saw that he had like crutches and everything in the back, and I was like, oh, I feel bad. I guess that's why he told me that's the reason he was wearing basketball shorts. But I was like, you could have still put on pants. Like, I don't know, maybe I was asking for too much, but I was like, you could have put on pants. But anyway, not to make a short story long, but yeah, so right away that ticked me off. We got on the road, we started driving, left the street, started driving on the main road, and all he could do was look over at me. Like, he's like, imagine somebody driving and you're in the passenger seat. I did that. You're in the passenger seat and somebody's driving, they're like, and all he did was look at me. Like, I have a thing, I don't like people stare at me too much. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, especially if you're trying to focus on the road, but I don't like in general people staring at me too much, because he kept like smiling over at me, and I was like, why you keep looking at me? He's like, well, I can't look at you. And I was like, yeah, you can, but pay attention to the road. Like, I kept nagging him about like road things, and I was like, you barely even stopped at that stop sign. But it was like jokes, I wasn't like dead serious, like, you know what I mean? But I guess he was kind of getting ticked off or whatever. He's like, fine, I won't look at you. So he was kind of mad at me right there. This is our first date, guys. This is our first date. Okay, so that happens, whatever. And I didn't know where he was taking me, by the way. It was like a first date. I knew he was taking me. You should probably know, unless it's a surprise. It wasn't really a surprise, but he never told me, you know, so I didn't know where we were going. So we ended up, I don't want to give locations because people are gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. We ended up going to a Smoothie King around my area. Now, I had never been to a Smoothie King in my entire life, guys. At 16, never been to a Smoothie King. It's my first time. I always seen it, you know, heard about it, whatever, but I never been to it. So he takes me to a Smoothie King, and I was like, oh, this is a cute first date, grabbing smoothies and stuff. I'm not high maintenance to the point where it's like, okay, take me out for steak, dinner, lobster, da, da, da. I'm 16. I didn't really care what you do, but I mean, just look presentable, which was like, whatever. So then we parked the car and everything. We get inside, whatever. And I've never been to Smoothie King. And I think he had been there like 2 or 3 times, he said. So he took me there and I was like, oh, this is really pretty, whatever. I was looking inside. It was nice. It was cute, whatever, right? And then so we ordered a smoothie each. He ordered whatever he had ordered. But I remember I specifically ordered something with like protein in it. You know how they have like the extra stuff like protein and something else, whatever, right? And so we get our order, whatever, he pays for it. I was like, okay, I see you. He pays for it, and then we go take a seat. And you know, the smoothie comes in a little thing, whatever, a smoothie cup and like a straw and everything. This is where the, okay. So then, y'all, okay, so we sit down and we're drinking the smoothie. He's like, oh, his is nasty. And I'm like, oh, well, I've never been here, so I don't really know what exactly you got in there. But like, I don't remember what he got in there, but I was like, oh, sorry. And I was like, mine's not nasty. It's pretty good or whatever. And he was like, oh, can I try some? I was like, yeah. I handed him the drink. He drank from my straw. I did not know he was going to do that. But keep in mind, earlier we had kissed before. And he drank from my straw. Now, he was like, oh, his is, after he drank from my straw, he handed me the drink back. I just looked at him like this. I was like, and then he didn't like really catch it that much because it wasn't like a long thing. It was just a, like, I was kind of irritated. I was like, you just drank from my straw. In my head, I was like, okay. And then he was like, I'm gonna go switch my smoothie and get a different one because it tasted that bad to him, I guess. And I personally didn't try it. I was just like, you know, I'm not gonna drink from your straw because whatever, right? This is what. So he's about to get up and go to the counter again and order a new smoothie. I'm like, can you grab me a new straw on your way back? He's like, why? I said, because you just put your lips on my straw. And he got so offended, y'all. I was like, you put your lips on my straw. I don't like people drink from my drink. Like, I'm not a water bottle sharer. I'm not a straw sharer. I'm not a anything. Like, if you put your lips on it, I don't want it. Like, I don't want it anymore. Like, I wanted a whole new straw. And he was like, what's the difference? We just kissed. And I was like, yeah, yes, but to me, in my head, it's 2 different things. Like, I don't know about y'all, but for me, it's 2 different things. Like, I can't, no, just give me a new straw, right? And he got so offended. I had yet to see the level of the offense, but it gets there. So then he gets a new smoothie, he brings back a new straw, I flip it and replace it, and I'm like, okay. At this point, I started drinking my drink. I asked him, oh, did you, like, is the one you got better? And he doesn't say anything. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but okay. And I tried some other conversation. I was like, okay, so like your siblings did or whatever. I'm trying to get to know him more about him because I was like, he's really cute, whatever. Like, let's get to know each other more. Let's talk. You know what I mean? And he was just silent. When I tell you silent, he was silent, and I was like, okay, maybe I did offend him. Like, I thought I offended him because based on his facial expression, but I was like, to what extent did I really offend him? Like, come on. But apparently, it was really major. And he was not talking to me anymore. He wasn't even saying anything right then and there in front of me. And I was just like, I was like, why aren't you saying anything? He didn't say anything to that. And I was like, all right, if you're not going to talk, then let's just go home. Like, drop me off home. Because this is like dumb and stupid at this point. Because you're getting very mad over this little thing that I did. And it's just like, whatever. I guess to him it was major, but whatever. So he's like, fine, whatever. And he finally does say something. And so we get back in the car and everything. I grab my smoothie, he grabs his, whatever. We get in the car and we're driving home and I'm still saying stuff. He's not talking to me. Like, he's not saying anything. I'm like, yo, what? Like, at first I was like, okay, it can't be still the straw thing because this is a little too much at this point. It was the straw thing. He drops me back off home and I was like, I'm not getting out the car till you talk to me at least, because I don't like to leave like a bad energy between people, like between someone, or like just like feel like someone's still mad at me, especially since like we just were talking and stuff, and like it's my fault, right? At least I want to apologize and make it better. So I was like, look, I'm sorry for doing that, but personally I just have this thing. It's not like a phobia, but I just don't like sharing. Like, I don't share with my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. I don't like anybody, none of my family, none of my siblings. I don't share anything. Like, I don't like people's lips touch my stuff. Like, it gives me just like I feel weird. Like, I always have to, like, I don't even take sips from other people's water bottle unless I'm like extremely thirsty, and then I'll, like, you know, like, waterfall it. I don't know why I did that. I was waterfall it. But yeah, like, I was like, okay, I'm not getting out the car till you talk to me and like say something. And I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, and we're just looking at each other. And I started to laugh because I laugh at everything. And I was like, what is literally going on? And he was like, yeah, the whole thing just really got me upset, about the straw. I was like, you're really that upset? Like, I just apologize, it's not a big deal. And he, I guess to him in hindsight now, like, freaking what, I don't even know how many, 4 years later, 5 years later, I guess it's like he just took it as like I may think he's 30 or like Jeremy or whatever. He was like he came off as like a country boy, something to that effect. So I guess that's what like he was thinking. I maybe thought he was dirty or whatever. So, but that was not the case. I just had my phobia of that whole situation. But anyway, so because of that, I was like, I'm not getting out the car, whatever, and whatever. And then I was like, all right, give me a kiss before I go. And he just looked at me. He's like, no. I was like, all right. I just got out the car and I like pretended to walk, of course, the opposite direction from my house. So I was like, you're not gonna know where I live still. And I went home. So keep in mind, we still work together. That's the crazy, we still work together. So then I pulled up at his trailer. First, I had been texting him actually, and I was like trying to get him to talk to me. I'm not an over texter, but I was texting him a little bit, like waiting for him to reply. He didn't. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna still see you at work. You can't be mad forever. And based on this, how do y'all know? He didn't talk to me for 1 whole week. Y'all, 1 whole week over me saying, hey, get me another straw because you used my straw. I was like, what type of petty? You're 22, I'm 16. I think you're being a little too petty. Like, he didn't talk to me for a whole week at work. Whenever I went in there, because at that point I would go in there like after I was done with my shift or before I came in, whatever, like, you know, just talk to him. When I did that, he didn't talk to me. So then I had to end up, he had this other girl's phone number that I worked with as well. I was cool with her. She was like one of my closest people there at the time, and he had her phone number as well. And so he like texted her, or I had her text through him. Like, we had a mediator, which was her, and I was like, yo, can you text him and see if he's gonna reply when you talk to him? And she was like, yo, he wants to talk to you. And he replied back to her. He was like, I don't want to talk, whatever. So then because of that whole thing, he didn't speak to me for a week, and he was like talking to her about me through her, and you know, whatever. I was just like whatever. At this point, it is what it is. The relationship is severed. It's over, because I'm not gonna sit here and wait. Like, even at 16, yep, I was mature, and I had the maturity to not freaking like sit here and be oof the woof disrespected over this. Like, I was just like, you're being so petty. And so yeah, it was just like, that was the end of it. He didn't talk to me for a week, and that was it. That was the last first date we was ever on. We didn't even talk after that whatsoever at all. And then all of a sudden he hit me up like maybe a year or two, not a year or two, maybe like a year or like a couple months, whatever, and was like, I'm going to the military. And I was like, all right, have fun. But yeah, that was like literally the last time I talked to him, which was like decades ago. But anyway, all because of a straw. Y'all, when I tell you, some people can be petty, but my lesson behind that is that, first of all, if you know you underage, don't be dating nobody that's older than you. And if you know, and if they know you underage, they should not be messing with you either, because that too was wrong. And today, in this day and age, look, I mean, I'm older than 18 now, but I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? I feel like that's wrong. Personally, I'm 21 now, and I wouldn't date someone who's like 17, 16, even 18. Like that, no. But yeah, I don't know what possessed me to think that was okay, but it sure wasn't. Yeah, guys, that was the end of my story time. Hope you guys liked that crazy, ridiculous story, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Bye. I remember losing it naturally anyway, but I lost it on purpose so I could go over there and get a new one. So like, this was my excuse to go see him again, because I was like, it's kind of cute. And keep in mind, my 16-year-old self is not thinking about the fact that this dude is literally older than me. Like, he's 22. He could catch a case, but you know, hey, times were different back then. Not really, but still wrong. Anyway, I'm not condoning this. I'm just telling you the story.